Welcome everyone to the Talk to Me United podcast, the podcast talking about Manchester United tactics. My name is Andy. On the opposite side of the screen is Ali. Midland Boys 2, United 1. We will break down all the goals, take a look at Martinez as our future new 6/8 hybrid, go through the stats, and finally discuss how United should play and set up tactically without Bruno. So Ali, how are you feeling after the match on Sunday?
Yeah, it's been mixed feelings. I think in general, not the worst defeat, more questions again. I don't think we're getting a lot of answers from this team. Bruno's injury, very significant. I really enjoyed seeing Martinez in that role. I've been wanting to see that since, Ten Hag. And I think there's a big gap creatively. There's a big gap creatively in terms of like Bruno's ability to distribute, the ball. And I was very surprised that Ruben didn't put Mount in that role. Like you have Xerxes on the bench. Okay, yeah, I'm glad to see Martinez there as the six. Maybe I am glad that he did play Martinez because now we know he can sort of do it for like, a half, right? He's still coming back from injury. But I want to see Mount in the 8. I want to see Martinez in the 6. I want to see Mount in the 8. I don't know what's wrong with that guy. Like he's like 7 starts, 7 losses is shambolic. That's not United level. Euro, look, he's going through it right now. Ordinarily, yeah, you probably want to like take him out of the team. Heaven's getting slightly better. Shaw's all right, but overall feeling, yeah, it's Villa. They're going for the title. I still think we're in that run around where we should be. Like, we're in a pack 4th to 7th, 8th. So we're where we should be. But Bruno's injury is very significant. The only person I can see is you put Mount in that position and your system kind of works. If you want to go to a 4-3-3, bring Mainu in. Also, Mainu missing around Christmas time and Bruno having that interview and now missing through Christmas time. And for me, it's a little
Conspiracy.
sus. It's a
It's a
little
little
sus.
sus. Yeah.
Yeah, like Bruno, I don't think Bruno's going to be here next season. I think that interview is kind of telling. But I'm telling you, there's going to be a gap when Casemiro leaves. There's going to be a big gap when Bruno leaves. It's kind of like we're okay right now, and when we bring in new players, they're going to have to adapt to being a Man United player, to their surroundings and everything. Then they're going to kick on. And right now we're like a 6 out of 10. And I think when we get new players in, you don't know what you're going to get. So I do think Casemiro leaves like a really big gap, and I like Licha in that position. I do. Yeah, that's just those are my feelings.
So I kind of agree with your sentiment. It's like not doom and gloom because it is Villa, the most like informed team in the Premier League and probably all of football. I think it's like 11 wins out of 12. It's like they were unbeatable. Remember, remember people, it took 2 world-class goals or 2 worldlies to beat a Man United team. I felt like, I talk about Watkins and it's like he was like invisible. I did not know he was in the game. When we look at the stats, we're going to show like, we've had a lot of touches in the final third compared to Villa. Like Villa wasn't giving it to us. They were sitting back on the ball, letting us play. They were pretty much letting us beat them. And then it turned out 2 world goals to beat us. So I felt like, it's not the end of the world because of what Villa is, but I felt like this is still promising. I know that from United stand, they've been like ripping this whole like narrative of like, we're Manchester United. We're not supposed to be thinking about the standard shouldn't be like we played well while losing, right? We should be winning and stuff. But like, let's take a reality of like, look where the team is in terms of the injuries, people out in the Cup of Nations. We already know the quality of the squad is very thin and things of that nature that, we're just like, just take it for what it is and where we're at. Like Lori, like what you said, everything is supposed to be between this, Champions League is like a reach, but I think the goal was Europa League. And we're in that spot right now.
And it's always better to, try to go as high as you can. And I feel
Right.
like, you want to overachieve. So if we aim for Champions League, you'll probably get Europa League. What I think was interesting about Ruben's tactics for this game was, and then having those three in front of him, right? Having like Bruno, and then
Well,
you know
he
the tens, like from building out.
well, we've shown on the podcast for many weeks now, he does that with Casemiro. So it's like he's not compromising his system. He was doing like having Ugarte play as the one and everybody else in front of him. But I think what's changed with his system was like he's gone back to like the man to man press. I just feel
Yes.
like he should not change the press for opponents. He should just build it into the system because I feel like we're more deadly with the man to man press, whether it's like the 4-4-2 or it essentially was a 4-3-3 at times. But I just felt like the man-to-man press and having your wingers high up helped create the turnovers. Because let's give my boy Patrick Dorgu a shout out. He came up and took his chance of being on the left wing. He was always riding it, having Delo play in front of him. Now that Ahmad is out in Africa, Cup of Nations, he's went out there and just took his chance. He causes the high press, causes the turnover for Cunha, and then, getting in those crosses in. I thought that, that was great with him in terms of the system. I feel like, he should just stick to it.
Yeah, I think there's a couple of things. Listen, Dorgu is a young player.
Right,
He's
21.
dynamic. He's dynamic. He brings energy. There was a few times I'm begging him, cross it back stick. Cross it back stick. Like we had I think
Yes,
Sallow, he was always free.
yes.
I think he just needs to learn that. And I think he's a little in his head. Just because
Mm,
he's been thrown into the first team, then he's been taken out, and then,
And
he's
then,
kind of
yeah.
brought in
And
because of needs must.
And no, I totally agree with you because you know what? There was like times in like the 85th to the 90th minute when he had the ball and then he was just like lazy or just doing bad passes, giving it back to Villa and stuff. So he's not like a finished product, but you know what? I think we could talk about it later when we talk about, depth squad, whether if we're getting Semedo or not. Uh, that being said, it's like he's a good piece to have because once we start playing more
Yeah.
football, when we get up to the 50 something games, 60 something game season, everybody's going to get a chance. And he's a good quality player to have on the team. And then in terms of with like Martinez coming into like that 6-8 hybrid role, and then once Ugarte and then Fletcher came in, we pretty much play like Palace. The 6 and the 8 were not that far apart from each other, or not like where Bruno's like all the way up on the pitch. And then Ugarte, Casemiro's that one. They were pretty much online with each other and having that symmetrical view. That's how, Palace plays very tight with their 6 and 8 together. And I felt like it brought a little stability into it. And then Shea Lacey, that cameo was promising. To take the ball out in the
Yeah.
box and then shoot that directly to Martinez. Like I know that could have been a whirly in the U-teens and U21s and stuff. We've seen his highlight clips, but there is something promising there, and I hope that he gets his chance during the time that Brian and Ahmad are out in Africa.
Yeah, he definitely had a fearlessness about him, which this team needs, especially without Ahmad and Mbumo. Yeah, I completely agree. Yeah, I think just reflecting, this Aston Villa performance was not a good performance. Amarim came out and was like, we were the better team.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
except
fair.
we were the better team. Yeah, you could say in both halves, but like the first half, when we had Bruno, our creativity was, in my opinion, in terms of our last pass, was a lot better than in the second half. In the second half, I did not expect the players to have that same level of creativity because you're missing your biggest creative link. You had Martinez who can pass through lines, but then you need that Mason Mount or
So,
someone to
so,
convert
so
it into the final third. So
we show the clips for when we show the clips for Martinez, I'll talk about it because I disagree with you that Mount should stay in a 10 and let Martinez play in that 6-8 hybrid because of the point you're trying to make of like trying to get the
I
balls
don't
in.
think I think Martinez should play as an 8. I think he needs to stay as a 6. I think he can break through the lines. There's a like Bruno, he can see the final picture. Martinez can't. Like he's a centre back. He's used to progressing the ball,
But he's
right?
done balls over the top.
But that's not like you can play. What I mean by final picture is Bruno can hit the ball over the top, and then he knows what's going to happen in the second phase. He's always had an ability to hit those from over the top, even when he's a left-sided centre back. Even when he's in a back four. I don't think so. Now we can't just say like, oh, Virgil van Dijk can see the final picture just because he's able to hit those balls over the top. There's a difference that Bruno has, that Scholes has, that very few players in between Bruno and Scholes have in that final picture. And listen, my favorite part of watching football is passing. I love passing. I love creativity from that side. And Man United lacked that. Man United, like their weight of pass was off in that game. Martinez zips his passes. And I love that. I love that. It's like he's playing for Barcelona, right?
Mhm.
He adds like an assertiveness to his passes. And again, it's just been 45 minutes or however long it's been. But I think Ruben coming out and saying, yeah, we were the better team. You were a mid team. Like Cunha had a headed chance. Sesko had a couple of chances. But it's not like we were absolutely hammering them. Villa were off. And what I will say is Ruben got his tactics right. This was a case of the players not performing. This is probably the most evident like display of that. Right. This is the first time I'm like, Ruben, you got your tactics right. Like the Villa play, I think they spoke about it on the podcast, right? They were just like, yeah, Villa have got no wingers. Like McGinn comes inside, Rogers comes inside, and then you got Cash and the left back, they push up. And then you see, I mean, on one of the clips I see that Dallo and Dorgu pushed right up. You got those three, behind Ugarte. And I was looking at it, I was like, yo, Ruben got his tactics right.
And to your point when you were in your opening remarks about like you don't know where this team is and stuff, it's like I think we both agree that the tactics and the idea, the philosophy, whatever verb, noun, whatever you want to use to describe Ruben is there. It is probably elite as well. It's just the personnel. It sucks because we've seen these players multiple times and I believe that if you get him the players, multiversal, dynamic, etc., that we will be all right.
Yeah,
Tactically, look, I'm ride or die Ten Hag. I felt like nothing was really wrong with Ten Hag. There were some flaws in this and that, but I'd rather have been what's it called? Ten Hag be my manager right now, right? But if I can't say that I can't be like some of the other fans here on Twitter and social media saying Ruben out, he's an idiot, he doesn't know what he's doing and this and that. I think a lot of people are just married to managers being um managers bettering the players, like bringing them up to the next level and stuff. But there's plenty of players here who've had several managers and had never brought them up to the next level. So it's not like I'm expecting Lucia to save us. I'm not expecting Delo to come and save us, right? I don't know what more coaching you can do for Bruno to make him to like next level type of stuff. Like, Kevin De Bruyne type of thing, if you want to say now, or Xavi, Iniesta, whatever player you want to use in the midfield to say Ruben needs to coach Bruno to bring him up to the next level, right? I don't see that there. And I feel like we've come to the point where it's like we've seen some of these players is that we need new, fresh players to buy into Ruben's idea and to help him get into to the team and to help bring us to the next level because I feel like tactically I cannot tell the difference, of the personnel between like how Slot plays slash Slot, how Pep, you know, Mikel plays. Like they all share the same idea of high press, going for the ball, passing it through the lines, playing it out wide, crossing it, if that's not working, you try and cut through the middle, hit them hard and fast. It's like, football has been a copy game. EPL has been, everybody copies everyone's tactics, right? Especially since Pep came in. Now we're moving away from Pep and going back to old school EPL of long throws, bully football. Like that's why I saw when we were talking to the game, I texted you like this game against Villa because Villa was playing very physical. I thought that we needed a proven striker, EPL striker, or or like you said, a natural finisher to get us over the line. I feel like this wasn't the right game for Sesko. and we kind of saw what his passes, but let's give him a break because he's coming back from injury.
Yeah,
You
he
know,
was rusty.
yeah, it's rusty, but I
Yeah,
felt like if you had that one on the bench, boom, you could get one in. And that's why it's like I feel like it's the personnel instead of like the tactics or whatever.
I told you we should have got Calvert Lewin, and you wanted Vardy, right? I wanted Calvert Lewin, and
I actually went to
he's
Watkins too, but
I didn't want Watkins. That was too pricey. His age profile it's kind of showing. But Calvert Lewin on a free,
I know
it
five
would have been good
goals,
business.
five goals
He's
for
performing
me.
well. And he's good in the air. But anyway, no, I don't think you can bring Bruno to another level. To be honest,
Right.
I think Bruno is at his top level. There is a difference though between like Unai Emery gets everything out of the player, right? And if he doesn't, yeah, he'll move them on. But Ruben, he's not there yet. Like it's almost like what do you value in a teacher, right? You could be at a good school or a bad school, right? What do you value in a teacher? Do you value a teacher that has a creative way to get underperforming students to perform to their potential? Or do you value a teacher that can teach highly academic students and help them maintain that level at a very high level? Right? Which
Yeah,
it's
it's the
it's kind
person.
of like what do you value? And in my opinion, I did used to like I used to do some tutoring. The first one, like getting kids that struggle and getting them up to a level, that's the hardest skill in my opinion. Right. And I don't think Ruben necessarily has that. I think Unai Emery has that.
Sorry to say
But
Pep here right now because you know
Pep's in the middle. Pep's in the middle. Like I think Pep can do both. You can give Pep loads of money, which he normally has, but I
right.
also think he can turn someone like Raheem Sterling into someone that can, tap in merchant. Like his movement's pretty good, and I
Same
think
thing with Holland. It's like tapping merchant right there.
yeah, and I also think yeah, you have like Jurgen Klopp, who's yeah, he had to have money. He had got a world class keeper, world class defender. He had key pieces, so it is a mix of both. But yeah, I think Ruben got his tactics right this game. I don't think he's always got his tactics right. That's where I sit with Ruben. Like the squad depth is isn't there right now, but I definitely hear your sentiment for like give it context. Like we're missing our top goal scorer. We're missing, our first choice, right wing back, which is a really key position. So yeah, I think gotta give it some context. I just felt a bit weird by the fact, oh yeah, we were the better team and we didn't win. Yeah, but you didn't blow Aston Villa away. I didn't think they did. I thought it was an okay performance. But yes, they were better than Villa. But just because you're slightly better doesn't mean you deserve to win. And those were two world class goals.
Yeah, and
That's
without
why.
that,
That's why. I don't think it's an uproar. It's not an uproar. I don't
right,
think many people are like, very reactionary. And again, the team that's third in the Premier League, 10
right.
wins in a row.
It is what it is. But we move on. So now we will get the clips up. We will go through the goals and some of the other things we have because I felt like even though it was uh 3 goals into this game, there was a lot of good stuff that we saw, and especially breaking down with Martin.
This is one of Sesko's opportunities. Shaw comes out the back, really aggressive, and our creative midfielder slash not so good defensively midfielder plays a reasonable ball over the top, and Sesko, man, just dink this. Like you got the bounce. Like I see what you're trying to do. He's trying to hit it in between, Martinez's legs, but yeah, he's got to do better there. He is just coming back. I do like seeing him out there. I do. I prefer him over Xerxes, but if you ask me, experiment with Mount and then put Xerxes there, but keep Sesko there. Any thoughts?
Yeah, I think he should just done better with this. Like,
Yeah, no, I hear
we've
it.
seen this highlight clips of like him in the Bundesliga going over the top or just like skyrocketing it over the shoulder of the goalkeeper. It's like, bro, do better. I know you're rusty. I know you're this and that, but it's a world class goalkeeper coming out of his net. You know you're losing space. Just chip it over him. He's out.
I don't, yeah, and like I said, I told you, I don't think he's the most natural finisher. I just, he's not like Haaland, Van Nistelrooy. He's like 6'5" as well. I guess Haaland's about similar height, but there's a slight awkwardness he has. He's not like Mbumo clinical, but he's still so young, and I still think he offers his team and some form of outlet, and he
Right.
does need to bulk up a bit and sharpen up a bit. But I just would rather see him out there. Yeah. So this is the goal that we conceded, and you can see that McGinn is in between Dorgu and Shaw. He's in that awkward position. Shaw comes out to close him down. McGinn does great. And now you can see, like, our tactics was to get Dorgu and Dallo forward, and this leaves you susceptible to having a 3-on-3 situation. And Yoro needs to be where that space is, and you need to show him down the line onto his left foot. Rogers has got a good left foot, but let him cross the ball in, right? Show him down the line. And here, I think Yoro should be there anyway, but Ugarte, he's not really covering anything. Come out, close him down, and that's a world class goal, and Rogers is doing this for fun right now. He's kind of reminding me of Bale season, like where he was just scoring like goal of the season contenders like every game. Like Rogers is on a different level. I feel for Euro, but he also, like, come on, like, you are. I know you're young, but you're also a Manchester United level defender. I know you got so much potential, and injuries and things. You can almost kind of understand Ruben taking him out for certain times, but he was playing well when he took him out. I know he's also playing next to Heaven. There's no real leadership in there. Shaw's not a natural, centre back.
Or
We're just
leader.
really missing Delict. So, I just thought, Euro should have done better. I don't want to get too much onto him though. But I thought McGinn did really well finding that space in between Shaw and Dorgu.
Well, Sir Alex wanted McGinn for us, so Scottish, bias right there. But he's a proven
He's a
baller.
workhorse.
Yeah, he's a workhorse.
He
That's what you need
works.
on your team. So one, I thought that the ball was out. I thought that Rodgers didn't keep it in. So putting that aside, I think that Euro's confidence since he got that penalty against Crystal Palace is he's not challenging it because the ball comes back into the box, and then he doesn't want to give up another penalty. That's why he didn't put a real good challenge on it. So I feel like it's a confidence issue as well. That he did we know he can do these one touch tackles and it's completely clean because he gets the ball. Like we've seen it. And I think his confidence is shot because of that penalty against Palace. And then Ugarte, it's like Heaven is covering a man, Dorgu's covering a man. Come out and step on it. Like step out and close it down. That's way too much space. Nobody should get all that
Oh,
space.
you mean at the down here?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Because you
I
have
definitely agree.
Shaw's covering Kamara. You have Heaven on Telemans, Dorgu mismatching on Watkins, and it's like everybody's covered. You were the extra person there.
Yeah, I call this lazy defending.
Right,
You're covering space, right?
right,
And there's a time and place where you cover space, but you gotta deal with danger first.
right.
And yeah, so yeah, Ugarte, a little bit of blame here. I do think this is very interesting. It's just so evident of Ruben's tactics. Dallo and
And,
Dorgu so high up, and you got a 3-on-3 here, and you got to if you're gonna live by this, pushing your wing backs all the way up, and then you lose possession, you're gonna die by it as well because most teams they're gonna start with the three players inside, and then eventually in a low block that becomes a line of five. 3 on 3 is criminal, right?
But also too, I also too think looking at it now too here, it's that Euro plays him on when I think Ruben's system we've seen it before is playing the high line,
I
and I
I see.
so it's
I
because this it's both goals that I've saw it that it's like I think Heaven was playing him on well in the second goal we'll see, but yeah, it's basically I feel like this is just a high line and the defenders are not totally aware or not or just the mental lapse of their spacing because if you have Euro like where Heaven is or a little bit there, Rogers is offsides. So
yeah, I think I don't. I get what you're saying by like a high line. Yes, he plays a high line, but I don't think his system is let's play the offside trap all the time, especially now because you can't play that with Heaven and Euro as part of your back three. They do not have the experience for it. Like for me, like that high line is so evident. Like Barcelona does it. Liverpool used to do it, and they're also but those teams have goalkeepers who come out and are like very
yeah,
competent
to
in
take the
doing
ball
that.
down.
And
Yeah.
like Le Mans is like Le Mans is he's decent. He's not like a world class keeper in in that regard just yet. But Alisson, he's probably the best in the world at doing that. But yeah, I don't think the system is offside trap. Um, Maybe we can look at some data, but like it's not as evident as like Barcelona and like Liverpool when they were under Klopp. Um, but yeah, they're just too inexperienced in my opinion. So right before halftime, we get the equalizer. Villa play out, and you can see like you can already see the man to man press developing. And right here, I love this from Dorgu. Like you can see the 4-4-2. Sorry, the 4 and the 2. Dorgu is really trying to sprint and make Matty Cash make a decision. Now, if Cash plays that ball into McGinn is most likely gonna come inside, and then you got 3 United players there, so that's why he decides against it. And I thought this was the perfect illustration for that man to man press. And I really think, yeah, this is really encouraging. This is what you want. You want to force the opponents into mistakes, and Cunha picks a corner. Really, really good finish. But really enjoyed, you seeing that 4-4-2 or the 4-2, the bank of four, and then the two forward. And then as it progresses, seeing that man to man press. What are your thoughts?
This is what I want to see more from Ruben systems. I feel that the tens, the wing backs, if they commit, they are pretty good at pressing and turning the ball, making the opponent turn the ball over, and we've created chances. Like Ahmad has been a very devil on the other side with that. Delo when he was on the other side, and then we already know how Mount can do it because Mount has pressed and we've scored a few goals off of him when he does that. So the team can do it. It's just like I said at the opening, it should be for like every opponent, not specific
Yeah,
matchups and stuff.
so I don't think we're there yet for every opponent. I I I, I rate your like willingness to do that. I just don't think these players are up to that level yet. I think once we get our two, our two new midfielders, then I think that's going to be more of a reality because then I just think that they'll probably be more competent. Yeah, I think you do need to switch because I think like Man City could rip right through this, right? So it's also game management, knowing how and when to do that. But you do want to get to a level where we're just going to press any team we face against. I think that's the sign of the one of the best teams.
Right.
Yeah.
Because Liverpool did that. Klopp did that with his.
Second balls, you need to anticipate that. I think Yoro, he's caught on his toes a bit, and again, Ugarte, he goes for space and not the man. Like you need to press, and everybody else is trying to do that, and yeah, that's definitely a goal that you don't need to concede. Your thoughts?
So I saw a tweet that said, one day Lamens will make a save on a shot that's not towards him. And when looking at the replay and things of that nature, he should have done a little bit better with this, a little bit better of anticipating it and going more towards the left side to get it. Because when it zoomed in and stuff, it looked like he could have gotten a finger touch on it. I don't know about his hands if he got strong hands, but that's a different story for a different day. But that's my only dig on Lamens, and that one tweet was hilarious. But again, yeah, we know how second balls are big in Ruben. That's why we've leaked so many goals. And then yes, spacing. Euro should have done better. Ugarte should have come out again, to close the man down to put at least a challenge on it. That's just a way too much of an open goal and too much space to give Rogers that time. He already burned you, 10 minutes ago or 12 minutes ago with something like this. It's like, he's feeling it. At least challenge him. And Euro does challenge him, but it's not enough. So that's my 2 cents.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I think this one, I'm more annoyed at him for the last one, for the first one, because that you just show him down the line. This one, it's reactions, it's can other people help you out. Yeah, also that is still your guy, so yeah, he should have done better on this as well. But the first one is the one I'm just like that was avoidable. This one maybe he was just sleeping a bit. But on Le Mans, like we don't know his level yet, man. I don't think. I think we have, and I use the word competent. He's somewhat competent, right? He's not got the doziness that Onana has. He doesn't have. He's not completely like fragile like Binder. I think, despite his size.
Right.
Yeah, we just don't. We don't know his level yet, and yeah,
A
we're
lot,
not going to find out. But
a lot of people want him to be De Gea because I saw another tweet too. I meant before this game was like Onana gave up 15 goals in his first whatever amount of games, and Lamens has given up the same thing, right? And for me, I feel like it's misleading because everything needs context, and I feel that for Onana with his 15 goals, it was just like we had too much space between the 6 and the 8 and the defenders that we were going to get cut up, and then it's like an unbalanced amount of space, and then he was getting beaten. And then here for Lamens, it's just like defensive issues. I don't think it's like the spacing or anything. I just think it's how we're defensively set up and things of that nature. It's like, and I think maybe out of the 15 goals, maybe 3 to 5 should have been him doing better. I mean, like and also too, it's like he's played how many Premier League games? It's like I think we have to be realistic in terms of we're asking like a 21-year-old or a 22-year-old first time in the Premier League to be like Allison or Ederson who were older when they came into the Premier League and played a lot of games, in the Portuguese and then in Serie A for Allison. And it's like we need to take this level and stuff down of like expectations, but the pieces are there. Like this is just more pain this season.
yeah, I definitely agree. I think he's really young. That's why I say we don't know his level yet.
Right.
But yeah, he's made a couple of mistakes, and that's fine. But it's I think we're kind of raising him to like, oh yeah, he's great. That's because Onana was so poor.
And
So
Binder,
yeah, let's
yeah.
find like a happy medium here.
Right.
That yeah. So this is the Cunha chance. Mount, good distribution. Dorgu picks his head up and Cunha, like you're not gonna find yourself in between two centre backs, that space. I think he should do better at that. He should really be scoring. And I don't really know what his competency is for headed goals, but you could tell he was quite annoyed that that didn't go in. Um, but I really like the build up play, Mount, distribution, a little bit like Bruno. He can play those balls out. Yeah, Mainu can't really do that. I don't think that's Mainu's wheelhouse. So I like to see that creativity from Mount as well as the distribution, and that's what's great about having Dorgu out there. Like he can deliver good crosses. He's still young. He can still develop, his decision making and that quality. But let me tell you, Dallo in this position was free all game. All game, back stick was open, and Dorgu didn't find him so much. But yeah, I still think he had a good game. What are your thoughts on
I like
the
the
chart?
switch of play between Mount and Patrick there, and I felt like asking Cunha to do that between two defenders, it should be a Sesko thing. But I feel like Sesko and Delo should continue their run into the box. You never know, they could get it onto the end of it. You want to say he's a teacher, let him teach to like continue your run.
I don't know what you mean.
Okay, play it because it's like okay, ball hits, and then if you had Sesko continue to run or Delo continue to run to the goal, maybe they could have put a foot on it.
I mean,
And it would be onside because even if he did touch it,
yeah, I don't really see it. Um, I think Dallo's in his position, and I think Sesko, Cunha, they're kind of like it's situational to whoever, like to however they're gonna play. Like they're two strikers in the box, right? Like when you play a 3-4-3, you're just kind of looking to be in between people. Like
to some
Sesko is not completely like our striker. Like he will sometimes go on the left, he will sometimes go on the right. It's interchangeable.
mhm.
I would prefer to have Sesko there as well, but that's I don't think we have a rigid system like that. Um, yeah, I see like yeah, you can I don't think Ruben can coach oh, you gotta carry on and move that. I think that's
Yeah,
probably more the strikers coach. Um that's just following up and yeah, I see that point. Yeah, you wanna always make sure when somebody's getting contact and if when your teammate is getting contact, you're running on no matter what. You're gambling.
correct, correct.
Um, yeah, but I don't think Dallo can do too much there. I think that's yeah,
He also let up, but yeah,
yeah. Like everyone was expecting him to score,
right.
but I think if Dallo's not getting there, man. He's not getting towards the goal. Licha. Now this is great. Like situational awareness. He has the space. He's gonna push into it. Man, honestly, these clips, he might have been playing this role his entire life, man.
Keep it
And
in your
finds
pants,
the pass,
man.
connects the pass. This is what I mean by I thought United just don't take care of the ball. There's it's what just really annoys me is Barcelona. Like any kid that comes out of the Barcelona academy, they know how to fizz passes in. They know how to, the weight of pass, the intensity, the intention, they know how to do it. And I think Arsenal back in the day, like they're all about, making sure that, they're playing football. And I see United with Scholes, they kind of had that. And I think they haven't had that, since. And I think Bruno, yeah, he's bridged the gap, but we still have that problem within the squad. I don't think there's enough emphasis on making sure your passes are getting there. And I think Martinez kind of is a lot better. He's definitely better than Ugarte at progressing. Ugarte cannot pass the ball, and he's supposed to be a midfielder.
Right.
So
So, and then
that's
in
just
this
like one situation of Martinez coming forward.
No, I was gonna say that this is the reason why I want Martinez to play in here and keep Mount up there is because of these 1-2 passes. Come collect, and then he can
Why?
distribute
So,
the.
like,
Because yes, it clogged up the space, but it's like I think
so
there's another clip where it's like Mount.
yeah,
They did a 1-2 pass.
yeah. You know what I love about this? This is like low key. This is prime Zidane. You know when he has the ball on his foot, like just like, and he's just stood there with the ball on, like just the studs on the ball. Low key is giving that like he's like a quarterback. He's
Mhm.
composed, right? He's weighing up his options. This there's a certain level of like arrogance and confidence that he's portraying here, and as a midfielder, like I really like it, and he also has that ability to execute the passes. Him and Bruno and Cass can do that. And look, he can play a very easy pass to Dorgu. He can shift that round to Shaw. He goes for the breaking of the lines pass to Mason Mount. That's not an easy ball to come in, and they get the foul.
Yeah, and that's the reason why I want him to be in that. These like have Martinez case as a 6 and 8, and then or the two sixes if you want, and then have Mount and Cunha as your 10, because we saw a lot of times that the tens Cunha was dropping back to collect the ball from the halfway line to progress it forward. Mount sometimes too, but just in this play of like him passing it to Cunha, then Cunha chips it off one touch to Mount. You can create chances there at the end of the day. And then I think
Yeah. So yeah.
the next clip where we show, it's like he's press resistant, and that's what I like to
Yo.
see.
Oh, okay. I mean, so on this, I think Xerxes can do what Mount's doing. I think Xerxes has the ability. Xerxes got a decent touch, and I think Xerxes can find other players, right? So that's why I'm more comfortable with Mount being as the eight. The other thing is I wouldn't play Cass and Martinez together. That's way too defensive, and I don't think Martinez is an eight. I would not want, and like I'm praising him a lot here, man. I'm praising him a lot. Like this is like as high as I want you to go. Like I want you to be the six, right? Once he's like in an eight position, like around here, I don't think he's gonna have the time on the ball to see patterns. I think he's much more comfortable seeing the game like forward. Um, maybe have Cass in an eight. I think Cass is more likely to be an eight than Martinez is. But I'll go to the next clip. So yeah, I know you said like press resistant. This was lucky. This to me like yeah. But look, there are four players here, and he still manages to get this ball, through. I think that's Cunha. That's great. That's great playmaking. It gets down to Dorgu, and he delivers the ball in. But this to me, like this is different. Like this is different. His touch is heavy. Like so, you know, he didn't mean because he's stretching now, and for me, that's composure. Yeah, like the
Right.
way Mainu does it, Mainu does it all the time, and that to me is what press resistant is. He's like very natural with it. Bit like Paulinho at Tottenham, like they're very
Yeah.
like they can control the ball and be press resistant. This pass, like he takes four players out, man. Like
Right.
that's great. It's breaking the lines, and breaking the lines is a hard thing to do, man. It's not easy. And again, this is 45 minutes, but I was so encouraged by this performance because I look at that United team and I just don't see many players that can break the lines and that can distribute. And I see Martinez and I see Mount, and I'm like, this could be like a quick fix. Thoughts?
No, completely agree. And I think before we could get into the stats, so yeah, so sorry. So what I was saying before was basically, can't stand Newcastle and their tidy whities if they come out and beat us. But, you know, I think going forward, I would like to see the pivot with Casemiro and Martinez and everyone's the same up top to hopefully give us a chance in the next few games. And then hopefully we'll see what recruitment does in terms of are we going to get Neves? Or are they going to get somebody else? Or just hold out until everybody comes back from their tournaments and healthy? Thoughts?
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I can see. Oh, I don't know. Yeah, I would like to see Martinez in the six and Casemiro in the eight. I can see that. I would like to see Mount in that eight and Martinez in that six. I don't think Ruben's gonna let that happen. And I have no issue with Mount being further forward. It's just I think it would be interesting to see him in that role. But I don't think it would be from the start. I think it would be like if a circumstance was to happen. I want to see Martinez play that six because that could solve a slight issue for us, man. Obviously, Kobe, I don't know if he's taking Christmas off or if he, actually wants to play. Martinez and Kobe could see that. Yeah, look, Casemiro is like proven quality.
Right.
He's seasoned against Newcastle. Yeah, maybe keep it as similar as familiar as you can. Bring Casemiro back. Try and play if Kobe's available, play him, but try and keep like a familiar team. And then the Wolves, Leeds, Burnley games. I'm sorry, you have to win those. You have to win all those games. Because then it's like City, Arsenal, or whatever. But those are the games you need to win. I'm not expecting you to beat Newcastle. Especially with the injuries and people missing. But those three games, that's gonna be pivotal to how we look coming out of this period without Mbumo and Ahmad, and we don't know when they're going to come back.
And also, too, remember when we were talking about this whole 10-game festive period
Yeah.
about basically, we need to get around, like, I think we both agree. I was a little bit more optimistic about 25 points, but I think we were optimistically, like, if it's 20 to 21 or 20 to 22, that it's like Ruben's on the right track. And if it's anything less than that, then it's something problematic with everything.
Mm-hmm.
So, we'll hold off our thoughts about that, but, he has to pretty much win out.
What did we say? Did we say
20.
5 wins or 6 wins from 10
Five,
games?
five, five. We said about 5 wins minimum, ideally 6 to 7.
Right, and I think he would meet
Ideally
the
six.
minimum if he wins Wolves, Leeds, Burnley.
Right,
So
right,
Newcastle, right, yeah,
right,
but I think Newcastle's fine. Draw probably,
right, right.
but you can't lose those. You can't even draw those three games. And
Exactly,
Leeds is a tough game, but you have the quality to dismantle that team.
exactly. So those are our thoughts for the games. And quickly before we wrap up, let's just run through the stats for the game because it is quite interesting. You can see the screen,
Yeah,
right? And it's coming.
this is the mode, bro. This mode is like so much nicer on the. It's when you share.
So basically here, I'm just showing you the touch map and the passing map. And essentially, we had, before Bruno got subbed off, he was playing, again, advanced. So again, it's always been a 3-1, then 6, essentially, 3-1-6. So it's still there. But then now that when Bruno got subbed off, we had Martinez, as we showed in the highlights, hugging the halfway line, going back and forth around the halfway line. Fletcher was a little bit higher back. So that's why I said at the beginning, like, we're playing like with Bruno now gone and Martinez now being competent, we are playing in like the Crystal Palace of both the 6th and the 8th are playing adjacent or close to one another. So and hopefully that will provide stability going forward. And then again, the stats are provided by Y Scout, and this is also another encouraging thing. We want to be a top team passing intensity. We pressed them around 5 passes for the whole game. Oh, sorry, 6 passes. So Villa got the 6 passes in before we pressed, and then we kind of had it off in the first half, but then we really pressed in the second half when chasing the game. So that's the things we want to see from this team of like what the team can do going forward, and then finally, passes to the final third. We've got a lot, 79% of them, and an average pass to the final third 23rd, 24. It's like, again, the system is creating chances. We are getting a lot of touches and possession, passes, whatever one metric you want to use in the box, but we lack the clinical aspect of it. Yes, we don't have Brian. Sesko's coming back from injury. Cunha needs to pick corners better. Mount is there, but we just need more clinical, and this team will thrive. Because everything from what we've seen at a high level, basically says that yes, there's some the data supports Ruben's argument that we were the better team, but we did not come up with the 3 points. And I feel like we've said this many times of what we've seen. It's just we need better players on the team. We need better quality players on the team, and it's going to take.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully, with the new rules, it doesn't take us 3 transfer windows, and hopefully, we be quicker than that because now the rules have changed. That essentially you can spend up to 85% of your revenues in any player sells. So we made 600 million, 650 million. Quick maths, that's like about 400 million you can spend, plus on top of how many players you have sold. So that's like an extra, let's say, 100 million right there. You could essentially spend 500 million, clear out all the deadwood and do it, but I don't know if they'll do it. And that kind of leads into my next and final point, where there's rumors. We are recording this on Tuesday, December 23rd. There's rumors that from Fabs and from other people that Semenyo is making his decision this week. It's down between Man City and Man United. The thought is that the proposal is we're going to pay the release clause over a period of time, like how we did for Cunha. City has now offered Ake in the deal, so they too don't have money. So this is not like a straight up like City can do better terms on the money or give them a straight out flat check for 65 million pounds to get that deal done. So it looks like it's a fair game. And then in terms of the money, what Manchester United money is a little bit better than City, and then there is questions about Pep being at City next year. Semenya is like saying that maybe that might be something for him because the talks were that City cannot guarantee that Pep will be there next season. While Ruben has been like drilling into the whole formation, the whole project to him. That's why he spoke highly of him before the Bournemouth game. Of he's a special player, and he has now hinted after Villa that we will get somebody in the winter. So it might be him. So with all that said, just take it with a grain of salt that United are there. It just comes down to if he wants to play for us and if the money is right for both parties. His paycheck and if Bournemouth wants to do that, buy now, pay later deal. So,
Man,
quick
get
thoughts.
him in. Get him
Now
in.
you're playing him as a left back. If you're playing him as a left back, or you're playing him as a striker. Because I saw so many people said some of that too.
No, I'm sorry, Mason. You are playing midfield, and I'm putting Semenyo in your position. Like he just offers me more. He's 2-footed. I would play Dorgu and Dallo. Like we're missing Mbumo at the moment. I think when Mbumo comes back in, yeah, you can shift him, to a wing back role, but get him in. Get his proven Premier League quality. Yeah, just I don't think we'll get him, honestly, but I want to see him through the door. Liverpool lurching, Chelsea are also lurching. Yeah, United just need to sign him. Honestly, this is the easiest thing to do, but it's more so up to the player. I don't think there's going to be anything wrong with the clubs, like you said. Does he want to play for Man United? I think if I was him, I would probably pick City because you got Champions League. You're contending for the
But he's
Premier
not gonna
League.
play.
You're gonna have your position on the right.
He's not gonna play.
No. That right wing position is going to be his. Like you
I
got
doubt it.
Dorgu on the left, him on the right, and then Foden and Cherky, and then Rodri, whoever's DM, and you got Haaland. Like he's gonna play. He'll play on the right or the left. Like he's guaranteed quality. Yeah, I think if I was him, I'd probably pick City, but come to United, man. Come on, that's
Yeah, man.
United. I think our forward line. Come on, man. That's quality.
We're
That's
definitely gonna be
enough to
winning
get
games. We're
push.
definitely gonna win games like 5-3, 5-4 at the end of the day.
Yeah, and I do like that. I do like that aspect. And he's got a long throw. Mate. He's got so many things going for him. 25 as well, man. Like ideal. Yeah, this could change a lot if we get him.
Just can change your
Yeah,
life.
inshallah.
So that's it for our show today. It was a great conversation with you, Ali, as always. Again, if you're new to the channel, like, subscribe, drop us a comment. We see you guys on Twitter, not Twitter, TikTok, with the comments. Shout out to you guys. Keep it engaged with the clips and stuff. You know, we're trying to do everything better here. So our next game, again, like we said, is Boxing Day, Newcastle. Hopefully, we can get something new out before the Wolves game, but if not, we'll do one big show with Newcastle and Wolves. But we'll continue to figure that out. But like I said, thank you again for joining us. This was our Villa review, and we'll catch you guys on the flip side.
These guys.